job. Your client, instructor, me, I'm very interested in the work you have done so far, and I'm looking for you to advise me at what site has the most opportunity and potential to become a destination for visitors, while also fitting into the community. It is up to you as designers to convince me by presenting a concept based on your past work and how it justifies your design decisions. So that's hopefully what we kind of started tonight, of like getting that ball rolling for that, right? I have also, sorry, I'm trying to read this and act as I go along. I also must insist that no vehicles be parked on the site so that people are more encouraged to walk and be present while within the site. Further, the built spaces you have been provided, the cabins, event space, and cafe, are prefabricated and will be delivered to the site, meaning you can't really modify them, meaning you have to have good reason to have a seashell roof, which I think if your site is in Cape Elizabeth and there are seashells, I think that's a good enough reason to have a seashell roof. Maybe less leniency with the cabins, but I'll decide as I go on. Not decide as I go on, that's not really fair. So the cabins have to be like out of the box. You can't really modify them. You can go with the roof, but I'll get to that. Let me just get all this out. Any changes or design ideas other than determining exterior materials and appropriate roof configurations. So I guess that does fall under, you can't have a seashell roof because the roof can be modified. Cannot be made without an extremely convincing justification, since alterations will cost the client, me, due time delays and budget reduction. Yikes, nobody wants a budget reduction, especially you guys. You guys are the architects. Further, all paths must be ADA compliant as possible. The client wants to ensure those having any type of disability, I want to ensure those having any type of disability, mobility device, sensory issues, etc., have access to the site as much as anyone else. It is your challenge to provide a convincing concept by producing a high level of quality materials, demonstrating your understanding of the community, my needs, and the ability to communicate your design through the necessary deliverables, right? So anybody have any questions on what I just read? So I'm your client. I have a lot of money. I don't really, but just pretend I have a lot of money. You guys are all world-renowned architects. I come to you and I say, hey, I have a lot of money and I own these 3 sites, but I only have money to develop one of them. Which one is that going to be, right? So part of that comes in terms of being a salesman. Like you have to be able to sell to me like why you want to do Cape Vashon Island. You have to sell to me why you want to do Albuquerque or Cape Elizabeth. So I think you guys are well on your way just by presenting what site you want. At least that's the start of the battle, right? Just figure out what site you want. The second start of it is developing your story, and not even developing your story, but because I don't want to guide you that way. I'm just trying to show you examples. You have to compel me. You have to give me a good enough reason why I should pick and develop that site, right? So and a good vehicle to get that is to become excited about a story. Now again, who remembers my little presentation of Corsa Station? There was 2 ways to do it, right? One was the fun, I don't want to say fun, one was the way to assign a story with all these fictitious people in it. The other one was to just be very factual. This is the name of it, this is what the concept's based on it, talk about the square footage, talk about different amenities, and then you're done, right? So there's 2 ways to do it. And if you have a third way, I'm all for it. But the point is, it has to be curated and thought out. But I'm not really worried about that. All right, so that's the prompt. Anybody have any questions about why we're doing this? Or any questions about anything that I've said so far? No? Okay, moving on to Project 5, your final project. It's due December 2nd by 11:30 p.m. Oh, that's nice. Gave you 6, 7 more hours? Oh, did I just say that out loud? Nobody's gonna say it?
CJ did it.
Yeah, I knew one of you guys would. My kids drive me nuts with that. Yeah, I can't believe I just said that out loud. That's so, I avoid that like the plague. All right, so you guys can read over all the learning objectives and for architecture and landscape architecture. But through the course of this assignment, you will hit all of these learning objectives, whether you know it or not. All right, so specific tasks required. Choose one site from the previous project and project to complete for this final project. So we've already done that. You guys have already picked your final sites. refine and conclude the site layout and building locations. So hopefully we can start to have those conversations at the desk on Wednesday. Come to me with your site. I recommend bringing the site that you turned in for Project 4, as well as any alterations that you might do between now and Wednesday. Apply your potential design solutions to the site layout and or to the buildings. So this is kind of the gray area where the prompt says you can't modify these buildings, but the assignment sheet says you have to include these design solutions. So like for rainwater, like if you have a sloped roof that wants to collect that rainwater, that satisfies the assignment sheet. If you have a seashell roof, that strengthens your concept of it being in Cape Elizabeth. If you have an orchard, maybe you have like whatever. I think I'm all out of examples, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, there is an example here. Example: if you're removing or relocating an existing tree, determine what potential design solution to use, and be sure to incorporate that into your final design. This may include illustrating this in plan section or if it impacts a building. That's weird. So, all right, we'll go on the example of the tree. So if you have a layout and you had a tree in the way and you want to move that tree, your problem is there's a tree in the way. Your solution is to cut the tree down. Or another solution is you really want to have the building, you really want to keep the tree, so you find a way to harmoniously have the building communicate with the tree, so you can have your building and leave the tree where it's at. And I'll help you if any of you guys get to that situation, because I got a couple of really good ideas that have all been done before. Determine roof shapes and types for each building. So it might be a good idea as a designer, if you know these things are prefabricated, maybe the prefabrication comes with like a really fun roof, right, for the cabins, and maybe it's a really fun roof for the cafe and a really fun roof for the event space. But what I would steer clear from, just to keep you guys sanity a little bit, is designing each individual cabin roof in a different way. There is a rare situation where I had a student last semester where they picked Albuquerque, and they were really big into snakes and the patterns of a snake. So they had this serpentine roof that started at the cafe, like picture in site plan, or like in a site plan, the roof was continuous, meaning it covered the cafe, all 6 of the cabins in the event space, and it was like a U shape, and it had this like angled serpentine roof. It was really cool. But that was part of his concept, and we talked about that a lot. So, but the bigger picture here is, if you're going to design the roof, for the cabins, I would try and keep the cabins looking all the same. Meaning, if you design one roof for one cabin, all those roofs are the same. That doesn't mean that you can't have a different roof for the cafe and for the event space, but that's my advice. If you want to do different roofs and you have a lot of extra time on your hands and it only supports your concept, do it. Chef's kiss. But my advice, keep them all the same. Illustrate exterior materials for each building type. This is where you get to have a little bit of fun. So, research, what good building materials are. Let me see how I can guide you on this one. So I think it's more important to have the overall look, meaning if you want to have like driftwood, like panels for Cape Elizabeth, then by all means do it. If you want to have like a sandstone rammed earth look for Albuquerque, I say that fits perfectly. If you want to have like a gabion wall, how many people know what a gabion wall is? It's like a cage they put rocks in. So a gabion wall would make sense for Vashon, right? So because there's rocks and it's foresty and things like that. So so again, the overall look of the materials is more important to me than actually you guys researching like, Hardy board or Vespa panels or any of these other popular materials that are meant to look like something else. I think the essence for you guys should just be like, what does the material look like? What does it want to convey? And then I'll help you assign it. Like you're going to pay like an absorbent amount of money for this, but who cares? You're in college, you're having fun. Money doesn't exist. All right, it does exist, but not for you guys. All right, so getting into the meat, criteria for a successful completion of this assignment. Provide an overall project statement. Address why the layout you're proposing is appropriate for the site. Describe some of the major features of the site, building design, mention materials used and why. So that first sentence to me is kind of like the outline of your oral presentation on December 3rd. You're talking about what site you selected. You're talking about the major features, and then you're talking about the materials used on your cabins and even your circulation path or any shade structures or things like that. And I'll help you guys work through all that in class at the desk. This is where it gets good. Provide the following at 1/8 scale. A final site plan. Include paths, texture, materials, and appropriate scales. So, just off the cuff, how do you guys, true or false, site plan at 1/8 of an inch will fit on an 18 by 24 sheet of paper? True or false? False, it won't. So, you're going to have to merge. You're going to have to either split your sheets or do what's called merging. So, if you take the example of my Corsa station, I know it was really small and you guys didn't really see it, but the assignment was either 18 by 24 or 24 by 36, and you could have minimum of one and there was no maximum. So what I did is I told Corrente, I was like, hey, if it's 24 by 36, what's preventing me from doing a 24 by 98 inch board? Meaning if I took that whole rectangle and broke it evenly, I would have 3 24 by 36 boards. So you could take these 18 by 24s and do it really long vertically or really long horizontally, just as long as you know that if you were someone were to ask you to cut that long board into equal pieces, you have 18 by 24 inch boards. So some of you guys won't be able to like wrap your head around that, and you're just going to have to get 2 sheets of 18 by 24 and draw it, and I'll help you. Like ideally you want to have the seam in the middle of your site. So like, you know, like for example, if I have these 2 sheets of paper, like you don't want to have your site start way over here and have like 2 inches of the site go on this one. You want to like plan it so it's like split right down the middle, right? All right, so good, and we can get through that as you guys get to that level of needing to provide an 1/8 inch scale site plan. Final section drawings. Update previous iterations, and you may add more. Include overall building shape, example, flat roof, slope roof, etc. So, again, the assignment sheet says update your old section, but this is your final project. It shouldn't take you that long, especially now, to bust out 1 or 2 site sections. Especially doesn't say provide 2 site sections or 4 site sections. It just says final section drawings, meaning more than 1, but no more than 2. I mean, 2 means that they're drawings plural, right? So 2 site sections. Provide the following at 1 inch equals 10. A final site model using monochromatic materials. No railroading, modeling trees, or figures should be used. Include paths, people, and vegetation. So a site model at 1 to 10 is going to be pretty big. It's going to be about probably 18 by 24, I'm guessing, about that size. It's going to be double the size of 11 by 17. So 34 by 22 is about the size of your model, 1 to 10. Provide the following at 1/4 inch scale. Front entry elevations of each building type, cabin, cafe, and event space. So just the front elevations, not the side elevations. That's what it says on the assignment sheet. But if you really need to tell your story and you have a really sick cabin, then show 2 elevations or show all 4 elevations of all 3 building types. Whatever you want to do to convey your idea. You also need an enlarged plan illustrating a portion of the gathering space. For example, a large seating area. That's it. Example, a large seating area. So an enlarged plan, and I'll help you determine, what enlargement. Remember we talked about those switchbacks at the end of the switchbacks, those opportunities. That could be an enlarged plan. Or you have a really sick outdoor gathering space, and you have a really cool yours is the orchard, right? So what do you do with the orchard? Do you make apple cider, or what do you do? Or yeah,
The side?
Yeah.
The bottom?
yeah.
You can go pick the trees
Okay,
and make the side.
okay, good. I'm gonna use Mag's example.
Your
of,
backpack's getting wet.
Oh yeah, everybody watch your stuff. Cape Elizabeth, Mag did a thing about potato donuts. So maybe, Mag's is, I don't know, like part of her large plan is like part of the event space that is it's like a commercial kitchen or like a donut manufacturing kitchen or whatever it is. So that could be another enlarged plan. Include at least 4 common design solutions that can satisfy recurring conditions found throughout the design. Example, a single slope roof may be used to capture rainwater into a collection tank and then be used for watering vegetation on the site. This could be illustrated since this is something that could be done for all the buildings. That's a weird sentence too. Maybe it just means once. But again, I'll help you guys mull through. I mean, the solutions and the problems identified should just be known in the back of your hand by now, right? You guys have had these 3 sites since August. All paths and circulation must be ADA compliant. No paths may not be over 8.33 slope. See ADA standards posted to the web campus. The ADA book is in the assignment sheet on web campus. So it's the assignment sheet, and then the very next link is the ADA thing. Deliverables using a layout or sheet size of 18 by 24. Asterisks. Arrange your drawings into a comprehensive and readable format. You may use computer programs for you iPad kids to combine or arrange your boards and apply text / annotations only. So this assignment, everything up to now, all your text had to be handwritten. This assignment says you can use computer to add your text. Don't use Time New Roman or I'm going to kick you out. You may use, use of 3D modeling software and AI is not allowed. AI is going to take all of our jobs, I'm just saying now. That's why sorry to just put it like that, but shit, we'll go off on a tangent. So that's why we do what we do, right? That's why we come up with these stories and get excited about architecture. A computer can get excited about architecture or, be able to sit down with a client and say like, I really like the beach, or I have experience with making potato donuts, or I'm really into astronomy, or I really like the ocean and the seashells, or I really like ATVs. A computer can't do all that shit. There's still going to need to be a human touch on this. So, but be cautious because AI is pretty crazy, right? There's still going to need to be somebody to prompt it, and I don't even know what it's going to be like when you guys even in your time here by 4th year, dude. It's crazy, dude. It's really crazy. If we had beers out here, I'd talk about it for like another hour or 2. But all I have is water. All right, we're going to do an after party at CJ's car. Include 6 photos of the site model in your PDF submittal. So if you like what Mag did tonight, every artist is a cannibal, every poet is a thief. Steal her shit and incorporate it onto your boards, but make it better, right? She gave you the idea. It's not a new idea. That's why I said, take what she did and find a way to make it better, right? Let me back up a little bit. This also might depend on the way your presentation flows. If you have a presentation to where maybe you have you have a set thing where you want to interject and jump back and forth between your site plan and then re-emphasize that with your model. So maybe your board is laid out toward title and then site plan, and then maybe it flows into your model, and then from your model you want to talk about the view or what you explored in site section, and then you go to the site section. So again, just 6 photos anywhere. Either it could be at the end of the presentation or incorporated in the presentation like Mag did. It was the excellent example for you guys. Upload 1 PDF. You guys know all this. The Google Drive folder, you know all this. Maximum of 20 megabytes. Most of you guys know all this. Deliverables. The following is not allowed. No mechanical equipment or elevators, Jelly. May be used for vertical circulation, such as an elevator. Who would even said it? Escalator, etc. I don't know what else would be besides an elevator, an escalator, inclinator. Wow. No stacking of any of the provided buildings on top of each other. So, the previous project, I was like, hell yeah, you can put the cafe on top of your event space. Great, do it. Doesn't say you can't. This one is saying, I'm your client and I don't want to stack them. So, no more stacking. All right? So, if you picked a site and your cafe is stacked, it is no longer stacked. Any additional doors or windows may be added. So, provided the doors and windows may be moved, but for reasons specifically related to the layout of the site. So, an example of that would be Jelly's carnivorous versus deciduous. Maybe she has her cabins arranged in a way to where it's around a carnivorous and a deciduous tree, and maybe one of her windows showcases the carnivorous in the winter solstice when the carnivorous leaves are on the ground, and then maybe her other window is framed at the summer solstice where the leaves are bright and green and mid the prime of their life cycle for that year, right? So again, that's what that means by curating windows. No additional buildings are allowed. Doesn't say shit about structures, right? That's a structure, not a building. No marquee or site signs are allowed. Design entry points to your site intentionally. I'm glad this assignment says this because I had conversations with a few of you guys on Project 4, and the few of you guys know who you are because you're the ones that, like, I had that conversation about. Raise your hand if you heard me say this. Like, you get dropped off in your Uber, or you show up with your parents. What's the first thing you step on, right? I think I asked a couple people, like, some of the ladies, like, if you're wearing high heels, like, do you want to walk in sand or do you want to walk in that? Or what if you got $700 now and later alligator shoes on and you don't want to step in any kind of like mud? You want to step on a surface. So the idea with not having a sign but having a curated entry is like the beginning of your story for this site, right? So if I haven't told you that before, picture you're going to actually use this space. You pull up in the party bus or the limo or your car, and where do you go? Like, is the building just off in the distance and there's no circulation? You just walk through the site? That's not very fun. That's not going to make me want to give you the commission to design one of these sites, right? So again, strong entry that can be done with walls. It can be done with shade structures. It can be done with maybe earth berms. It can be done with vegetation. There's like 5 or 6 things that I said, right? So that's the end of class. Anybody have anything else? I got a little bonus talking about if you guys want to walk like another football field length. Go ahead.
Would this be structure? It wouldn't be a building, right?
So, what is this thing? Just what is this?
Like a shading structure.
Now, what do you think this was a solution for in the Las Vegas desert?
Shading.
Yeah. So this is a solution to a problem. The sun. 100% allowed.
Got you.
Not 99% allowed. 100% allowed. This is a prime example of a solution. Cool. Anybody want to do the bonus with me?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Walk with me.
Let's get her done.
It's really close. I can see it from
It's
here.
a football field. Are we putting this stuff back first? Or?
Oh, wait, we got to put all the chairs back.